Session 27 writing task is to write a letter to Dr. Edison Burke, a dietitian, requesting a low-fat diet recipe for Mr. Derek Shepherd, who recently underwent coronary artery bypass graft and can cook at home. You are a registered nurse in the coronary care unit at St. Vincent Hospital, where Mr. Shepherd is a patient in your care and now he is ready for his discharge. Let us look into the case note first. If we look into the case note in detail, we can see there are two dates given. That is the admission date and the discharge date. Here the admission date is irrelevant and not to be mentioned in the letter. But you have to mention the discharge date in the introduction paragraph of the letter. The date of the letter will be today's calendar date or discharge date unless today's date is not specifically given in the case note, because it is essential to know when the service should be provided. The name, date of birth and address are important and should be mentioned in the letter, where the name and date of birth should be mentioned in the reference part of the letter. Here, the address is very important because this guideline information need to be sent to this home address. For a dietitian, he must know the condition of the patient, habit of the patient and the required dietary level. If we skim through the case note, we can see a lot of information provided, but we don't have to mention all this information to dietitian. A dietitian doesn't have to know about the social history of the patient, hence the information provided are irrelevant and can be omitted. The medical history part is relevant and all the information provided here should be mentioned in the letter. More importance should be given to the part that says the patient has been suffering constipation occasionally and for that he takes Isabgol because the dietitian must know the digestive efficiency of the patient when he prepares dietary guidelines. The dietary habits are also important because it says about the kind of diet the patient has been following, hence should be mentioned in the letter. Even though the case note says a lot about the nursing management and progress, it is not important to mention in the letter because it has nothing to do with the dietitian. Coming to the discharge plan, we have to mention a little bit about the discharge plan, especially the kind of diet he requires. If a person has a limited physical activity, that means a person doesn't need much energy, and according to that, a dietitian can prepare a proper dietary pattern. However, you should mention the information provided in the discharge plan in a concise manner and don't have to go in detail. You have to focus more on the type of dietary requirement, his medical history, and the physical condition of the patient. You should keep in mind that all these points have to be mentioned in an organized manner so as to maintain the continuity of the letter. Taking all these points, we have to prepare a letter in an organized manner. Now let us see how we can write a letter with the help of a sample letter written by a candidate from India. The address, date and salutation written are correct. Moving to the reference part, there are a couple of mistakes such as you don't have to write aged 47, instead we can simply say 47 years. So we can write RE, then place a colon and write Mr. Derek Shepherd, 47 years. And you don't have to write the address of the patient in the reference, which is not advisable in OET writing. Moving to the introduction, I am writing to refer Mr. Shepherd, who was operated for coronary artery bypass grafts 1 week ago. He requested a dietary information as he is being discharged today. The candidate tried to provide some information but not in an impressive manner. It can be written in such a way like, I am writing to request a dietary guideline for Mr. Shepherd, who is recovering after a coronary bypass graft and will be discharged today, which is much more precise and concise. Moving to the second paragraph, Mr. Shepherd had constipation on first post-operative day but relieved by Isabgol, which is wrong because according to the case note, Mr. Shepherd had constipation after 2 days of the first post-operative day and not on the very first day. Coming to the second sentence, he is on low-fat diet during hospitalization and will continue after discharge. Where will continue after discharge is wrong and instead you have to write will have to continue after discharge. The last portion of the paragraph says Mr. Shepherd has been educated for smoking cessation and referred to quit line. He also guided to decrease alcohol and weight education. Wherefore smoking cessation is wrong and should be replaced with about smoking cessation. Moving to the third paragraph, Mr. Shepherd is allergic to nuts. He is overweight with BMI 29 and eats junk food. He is unmarried and lives alone. Here the writer has put a lot of information in an unorganized way. It would have been much better if you have emphasized them in an organized manner. He is unmarried and lives alone. He prefers junk food over cooking. But since this letter is to a dietitian, you must mention what kind of food he prefers normally. In the case note, it says he prefers sausages, pizza, deep fried chips, and pastas. So it would be better if you mention them in the letter, since those information are much relevant in this letter. We can reframe this paragraph in an impressive manner like Mr. Shepherd, an unmarried man who lives alone and works in a bank. His previous dietary habits mainly include sausages, pizza, deep fried chips, and pastas, which made his BMI 29. He frequently experiences constipation, uses tablet, I sub God for that. Please be aware that he is allergic to nuts. Moving to the last paragraph, in light of above, it would be greatly appreciated if you provide information on simple low-fat diet which could prepare at home. He will continue rehabilitation exercise program. Again, this paragraph has missed out some relevant information. In this case note, it says that the dietary guidelines should be sent to this patient's address, which is not seen in this letter. So overall, this letter is not at all impressive. Coming to the wind-up sentence, you can reframe the sentence in much better way, such as, please contact me with any queries regarding Mr. Shepherd. Sign off written is correct. So that's all about the letter. Thank you.
New method for OET learning. How are you preparing? Online or offline? For speaking and writing, you can get tutor reviews. How will you be able to manage your reading and listening? How can you manage your self-practice easier than ever before? Learn OET in Merlin's way. Most successful OET learning method from world's best online trainer. Chat now. mentormerlinexam.com